This is Paul.
And I'm Heather.
And welcome back to another Evolve to Win show with Heather and Paul. This is episode 90.
Today we're talking about what happens if your team is just not on board with you and they're not doing what they need to do and they're just not following. There is a step one that is the most important thing that's going to happen in leadership, and that is?
This is leadership step one. This is like the very first step you take. So if you want to become a better leader, this is it. Number one, it is creating a vision that you can enroll and inspire somebody with. You have to have a vision first for yourself and where you want to take people to be able to take them where you want to go.
Yeah. Now, what's really interesting is if any leadership book that you read or any seminar you attend, you'll always see this is the number one strategy is you've got to have a clear and compelling vision. You have to be able to communicate, articulate that vision. And although I've always bought into that and I realize it from a logical level, it's only fairly recently that I'm understanding more and more about why that is. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that is having to do with some of the examples that you see in business today. I'll let you talk a little bit about Tesla. Paul's so passionate about Tesla. I'm going to have to just cut him off at some point. So sorry about that. But I think that the more I study, goal setting, goal achieving, law of attraction, neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, all of it.
Yeah.
It's all about how you engage your unconscious mind by connecting that, so if your conscious mind, so that's your thinking mind, that's the part where you're setting goals, setting the vision, setting your path. Your conscious mind actually directs your unconscious mind, and your unconscious mind is servile, meaning it has to follow your orders. Mm-hmm. Okay? So
got it.
You've got to be able to consciously connect with that unconscious mind, because it's the unconscious mind that's actually responsible for getting you to do the things that you need to do to achieve the vision. Now, the reason that it's so important to be able to communicate that compelling goal is that we human beings think in images. And just in case you don't believe me on this, I want you to as long as you're not driving right now, close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to picture a red car. So do it. You play along. Okay. Picture a red car. Mm-hmm. All right, open your eyes. What did you see?
I saw the Tesla Roadster that's they're working on right now and will be released by the end of the year. Yeah.
Okay. And what color
year.
Was it?
It was red.
Okay, good. So you followed directions. Yeah. That was awesome.
They have one on their website. That's why it was easy to.
Now, all right. So you actually pulled up that image when I told you to picture a red car. Now, I didn't tell you to picture a Tesla. I just said red car, but you created that image. And let me ask you this. Were you standing outside of the car?
Outside of it.
You were outside.
Yep.
Was it hardtop? Was it convertible? Did it have a glass?
It was a hardtop.
Okay. All right, good. So what's interesting is whatever car you saw, if I do this in a room with 200 people, you'll have people with all different cars. And some of them will be cars that they've actually owned previously. Some of them will be a dream car. But what's interesting is people will see and they will tell you where they're standing compared with the car and what the car looked like and what it was doing and where it was. Because we can create so much with that imagery, we actually think in images. So you've got to be able to create an image that someone can see and get engaged with in order to really powerfully access the unconscious mind, which is the most powerful part of our being.
Yeah, and so I can honestly say that in all the different places I've worked, and I've worked in a lot of different capacities throughout the years, I've never once had a boss, a leader, give me their vision of what they want this to look like. They've never enrolled or inspired me to get on board. I just joined a company because I just was like, oh, well, it paid well and it was the type of work that I wanted to do and it seemed like a good company. Those were the reasons why I joined the company. I didn't join them because I was inspired by their vision or the leader. I was inspired by the leadership at all either.
Okay. Up until, and tell me if this is right or wrong, but up until you joined Action Coach, do you remember the vision of Action Coach?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, Action Coach was, just a company that we bought into a franchise that back 15 years ago. And, yeah, I mean, they inspired me. Yeah, for sure.
Back in that day, I thought Brad did a great job in creating the vision, a vision that we all kind of got around. And we even took, in our franchise, we took that vision to another level and created it and made it our own, where it really spoke to us more. But it was world abundance through business education, right? Re-education. Sorry. World abundance through business re-education. And then it was backed up with a set of core values that were really powerful. Now, in my opinion, we had too many that no one could remember what they were. But to this day, we still espouse some very similar values that they came up with, because it was really powerful. All right, Paul, you're gonna get the stage for a minute.
Why?
What
are you gonna do?
I want to talk to you about, when we first were talking about this topic about vision, you brought up Elon Musk's vision for Tesla as being a vision that you thought was part of the reason they were accomplishing as much as they are right now. So,
I'm just fascinated by electric cars. I mean, electric cars have been around since the 70s, but they never got any type of traction, just because just like the big oil companies and everything just had control. The technology wasn't there, but because we're moving so fast with technology and things are happening, it's so exciting. It really is. Like, I love the idea, and I think cleaning up the environment is extremely important. But I know that's not going to happen through just, talking about it. It's actually going to take technology to really start to clean up the environment, if that's what we want to have happen. And it's going to have happen. There was a story back in the 1970s when the oil, what was that? Like the OPEC oil crisis, when gas was like, $6 a gallon back in the 70s. Just crazy lines out there. And everybody was worried about that we were going to run out of oil. And what solved that problem was that they did a study on it. And what they realized is that technology solved the problem. And sure enough, later, there's still a ton of oil left. And the reason is because we can refine oil so much better than we could before. The technology increased the amount of gas that we would get out of per barrel.
Our efficiencies.
Yeah, and so the efficiencies became better. And that's what's happening right now in the battery world. So batteries, with Tesla, all are fully electric cars. And I've had people ask me, like, are Teslas like a hybrid or whatever? No, they are full electric. Like, you got to plug it in, and that's it. It runs.
And I remember that first Tesla that came out, I was really interested because it's just such a unique concept. It's so new. It's so different. But I was a hard no on the new technology, because in my mind, that first model was going to be so outdated in such a short period of time that it was going to be useless compared with your traditional car, where you can drive it for years and years and years to come. When you look at the advancements in technology from Tesla 1, whatever that was called, to now the Model Y, which is the one we have on order, right?
Yeah.
Y. It really is pretty amazing, and just even the size and the weight of the batteries and all of that, right?
Yeah, and the range that you get for the miles per charge, I guess.
Yeah, which makes a huge difference.
So the reason that we're talking about this, and we started off with vision, is that I think Elon Musk, like him, or I don't know too many people that don't like him. He's a pretty incredible guy. He actually started PayPal. And that's where he got all his money. And then he sunk all the rest of his money into SpaceX and Tesla. And if you don't know much about him, the most incredible thing is, like, we truly have like a 40, well, I guess he's closer to 50 now, but we have a 50-year-old man that is literally like the Thomas Edison of our day, like dramatically changing like the world for the better. Not only is he creating these electric cars through Tesla, and they just had one of their best quarters ever, and we're a Tesla stock owner, so we're happy about that. But also he has SpaceX, and SpaceX, where they are sending rockets up into space, launching the cargo, whether they're satellites or anything else, and then landing the rockets back down on Earth so that they can reuse them, because that's one of the most expensive parts of sending rockets to space, is that if you don't have a reusable rocket, you are like wasting tons of money. It's like literally like taking a plane, flying it once, throwing it away, and having to build a new one again. Yeah. I mean, you have to make it reusable.
And so tell us why you think that Elon Musk has been so successful in getting this group to rally around him. I mean,
because he has an amazing vision. And for Tesla, the vision is to accelerate world's transition to sustainable energy.
Okay.
And then he has another one for SpaceX. So that's for Tesla, is to get us off of fossil fuels and get us into using electric. And it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And again, it's just technology. Probably in the next 10 years, we'll see the vast majority of cars on the road in 10 years are electric cars. And the interesting thing about that is the last time we saw anything similar to that is when it was the horse and carriage. So
that's
the horse
like
and carriage,
last major shift in the automotive industry.
So what's interesting about that is the horse and carriage, the cars started coming out, and it wasn't Model Ts in the beginning. They were custom cars that were built by hand, and only rich people had those. Mm-hmm. And so just like with electric cars, only people who have a lot of money could buy the Model X or the Model S, which are $100,000 plus cars. And now they have the Model 3, which is more of the everyday car, which is $40,000 to $50,000, which people can afford now. So can go to mainstream. But same thing with when the Model T came out, Ford created the Model T and made it affordable for everyone. There was this interesting thing that was happening on the roads where you had horse and carriage and you had Model Ts rolling around. And it was a really awkward time because you had to deal with both. And so what happened over the next 20 years, it took 20 years to eventually get everyone off of the horse and buggy, the horse and carriage, and fully onto a car. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we'll probably see, although it'll probably move faster because there is such an interest in cleaning up the environment and wanting to go more electric. You're going to see more of these companies going towards electric, and maybe in the next 10 years, you're going to see a vast majority of cars that are electric then. And so the reason I bring that up is because the people that work for Tesla and the people that work for SpaceX, the reason they work for that company is not because it's a good job and it pays well and they're having fun and using their intelligence to, and maybe for their own purpose. They are following Elon Musk. They believe in this vision and they want to be a part of it. They want to be a part of history. They want to be a part of something that is going to make a difference in this world. And that's what drives them to go to work. Yeah. So I ask you, when you get up every day for work, are you inspired and enrolled and excited about the vision for the company that you're going to work for? Or if you are the owner of the company, are you inspiring and enrolling and getting people excited about and taking them on this vision that you have so crystal clarity, like Heather brought up, that they could create a picture for themselves around? If not,
you're missing a big opportunity.
You're missing it because people then are just showing up for work.
People want to first of all believe in a cause. They want to work for a cause. And I think a lot of times when businesses, especially small businesses, are working to create their vision, it's sort of it's part of the business plan and we've got to check that box. But maybe they're not truly emotionally connected to it as though it's a cause, right? Mm-hmm. Something that's bigger than them, something, it's some massive purpose that you're serving, right? And so because we're lacking that kind of compelling vision in a lot of these companies, then I believe it's up to the individual to really make sure that you're clear on your own vision. And I ask my clients this all the time when I first start working with them. I say, what's your leadership purpose? And they're always kind of like the RCA dog, huh?
Yeah.
Just dated myself. So anyway, most people have never really thought about what their individual vision is or purpose is. What is the impact? What do I stand for myself and how I serve others? And what's true is if you don't have something out there that's bigger than you are, mm-hmm. right, then you can totally get stopped by obstacles in the way. Whether those obstacles are people who are on your team who are not on board, who are not following along, who you just can't seem to get the most out of them, or whether there's some other circumstance that's happening in business, something happens with a competitor, something happens with the market. It's so easy to fall off course if you don't have that bigger vision, bigger purpose.
Yeah.
And so
and that's also true. It's just not for the CEOs or for a president of a company, even for a small company, the owner of the company. If you are running a department, if you are leading people, this is the number one thing that you can start to do right now. If you've never taken on leadership before and you just kind of got moved from a management role to a leadership role, and you're like, oh, I guess people are just going to follow me. They're not. They're not going to follow you unless you have a clear, concise vision that inspires and rolls and gets them excited about where you are taking them. And the thing is, maybe it's possible that the people that are on your team, if they are not inspired by the vision that you have, then they might not be the best fit for your team. So you may see some people falling off of that, but that's okay, because you want to have people that want to join your team, that trust you, that like you, that want to be a part of this vision, that are going to walk through fire with you because they believe so much in where you are taking them. That's what people want. People want to be led. And if you are not leading them, they will meander around and not find themselves and not be happy. They will look for things to complain about. They will look for things to maybe not do their jobs as well as they could. They need to be inspired. And that is the number one tip, the number one lesson, the number one thing you can do right now today is to start thinking about, where do you want to lead your people?
Yeah, what do you stand for? So let me give a really practical example. I got this from going through an exercise years ago at a workshop. In 2 words, my purpose as a leader is to inspire breakthroughs. And what that means for me is that every person who I come across, I recognize that they have a next level for them, that, success in their definition. And so I will treat that person as their next level, right? Mm-hmm. I'll see what's possible in them and I'll believe in them. And I will help them not only to define what that next level is for them, but also to find whatever limiting beliefs are in the way so that they can break through those limiting beliefs and get to that next level of success. So for me, it's really powerful because every time I come across an obstacle or I have a client who's stuck, that for me is perfect because it's just a training ground for me, for them, to help get them unstuck, help them to have a level of awareness of why they're stuck, what's holding them back. And so think about this. If you're a leader and you run into one of your employees and they've got this major problem and this major stuck, most people end up they buy into where the person is stuck. But if you're doing that, it's only because you haven't defined who you are as a leader and what you stand for. And if there's something within you that, you really enjoy helping others and helping them get to the next level, helping other people succeed, find out exactly what that is for you and how you can articulate it in a way that really resonates with you. So when finding that leadership purpose, a lot of times we try to marry people's motivators. So what is it that makes you tick? So I'll have you think about this. If you're sitting there right now like, yeah, I know I need this purpose, I need this vision, but I don't really know what it is. I want you to think back in the professional setting, because we're dealing with the professional capacity right now. I want you to think back to some really significant moments in your professional career when you did something, when you helped someone and it gave you this unbelievable fulfillment, where you felt like, man, I am on purpose. It was when you felt like you were firing on all cylinders and you just you might have even gotten choked up. I can tell you when I have moments with clients, and look, it's never me that creates their breakthrough. I'm a catalyst. I'm asking the right questions because I honor the fact that you have the answers within you. So when I ask the right questions and I push you just a little bit harder than you might push yourself to look internally and find what that is, and you see it, and then you actually realize it. For us in business, there is nothing better than when we have someone come to us, whether they're a paid client or whether they're, a listener of the Evolve to Win show. When somebody says, hey, I listened to that one episode and you guys were talking about starting your podcast and you encouraged us to do something that we've been holding off on. And guess what? I finally started my blog after all these years. Mm-hmm. there's nothing more fulfilling or rewarding. That will keep us going every single day when we hear the kinds of results that people are achieving. So we always, always welcome your feedback. We always want to hear from you and what you've been able to accomplish. And sometimes it might just be a story from one of us, a story from one of our clients that has you think of something and take action on something that makes an impact in your life. There's nothing better than that.
Yep, that's a great point.
And so one of the things that I'm really, really excited about in line with sharing that vision of inspiring breakthroughs is we mentioned on our last episode that we're working on this series, this 3-part mini course. It's called Win the Quarter. And what I'm super excited about is we are really close to the finish line in getting that produced. It's going to happen. It's going to happen this quarter. And it's just designed to help you understand our philosophy around goal setting and goal achieving. And there are some tips in there that will absolutely make a massive difference for those of you who are looking to either set or achieve goals to take you to the next level. Go to winthequarter.com. Give your email address and you will be notified immediately when that course comes out. And again, that's a freebie. That's just one for us to say thank you to our listeners and to give back.
Great. So just to wrap this up, again, the number one step that you can take to start leading is come up with a clear and concise vision that inspires and enrolls people, gets them excited. That's something that maybe you need to sit down in some quiet time or talk it over with somebody and just really get clarity on what exactly that looks like. So having that clarity so that you can communicate it to people so it has the impact that you want it to. So there's maybe a little bit of wordsmithing and practicing that you need to do on that, but just that exercise alone helping you to get clarity on that, you're going to feel different. You are going to feel inspired. You are going to feel like you now can start leading people in the right direction where you want to go and letting them, instead of just letting them just be where they want to be. Remember, people want to follow. They want somebody to lead them. So be that leader for them. But the first thing you need to do is come up with your own leadership purpose, your own vision for where you are taking them.
And when you do that, you will have people who are aligned with you, they will get in line and they will follow.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you liked this message and you know someone who needs to hear it, please share it. You can connect with us on YouTube or on LinkedIn and or subscribe to the Evolve to Win show on iTunes or Spreaker or Google Play or whatever your favorite podcast app is. You guys have an awesome day.